Hello, and welcome to the EA Jira Software as CMS presentation. This presentation is created by Dustin, Ekaete, Mackenzie, and Josh. This is for the MIS 310-52 Principles of Management Information Systems class. We chose to do our project on EA, a video game company based out of Redwood City, California. A CMS that would be used eternally by teams to submit tickets and requests to update various websites and web properties. In doing this project, we sought out to understand why EA needed a CMS, what software they chose, how they made the decision, and the entire process from approval through completion. First, we'd like to talk about the CMS that EA chose, which is called Jira Software. It is developed by Magnuson. Jira is a multi-purpose software used by the product management, IT, and other development teams to work and organize tasks and track workflows. Jira is an application offered as a cloud-based application, or it can be privately hosted. EA, for their purposes of needing to modify the software and code, chose to implement it on their servers given the flexibility it offers. For EA's use, they chose to focus on using Jira as a content management system for eternal requests across multiple teams. Early on, it was identified that content requested made to websites was being done inefficiently, relying on traditional email, Excel spreadsheets, and disconnected communication across teams. It was highly unorganized and did not provide clear transparency or ownership. Simply put, CMS was a mess and needed to be fixed. To identify the benefits of Jira for EA, it is key to understand that Jira was already being used by the IT team for other related tasks. They were very familiar with the software as well as with the organization. Given Jira was already used in the organization, the license of the software was cost already allocated for. Using Jira for CMS tasks took on costs only associated to labor, tests, and to maintain. The benefits of using Jira for CMS were economic, transitional, and customer service driven. The results were reducing costs as well as labor and communication. CMS requesters, who are the customers, had more transparency to the process. They could better understand the progress and had clear points of contacts to reach out to. The organization could better understand resources, perform audits of the tools, and better understand the costs associated with the team requests. Magnuson is the vendor that provides support to EA for the software of Jira. Their enterprise support plan assists in advertising the users on how to work the software, including monitoring and early access to beta programs. It also assists on upgrade plans for the system. EA has official guidelines that cover all software policies and procedures within the company. These policies are the framework on how the software is used at EA. The majority of EA's configuration duties are done by the Project Management Office. For the more challenging configurations, EA will usually engage consultants to assist with the new software. Jira was previously integrated with EA's existing information systems that was primarily used by their IT team. The configuration of the Jira software into EA's requirement is a process of leveraging customer attributes, screens, and workflows. EA's use of the Jira software is not cloud-based. Instead, it is hosted on a premise version. This allows the IT department easy access as long as they are trying to access it from inside the site. All of the security for Jira is set up using the security precautions that EA uses. This is used by the management group that controls all security risks, including auditing as well. In order to use the Jira software, a user must be part of the Active Directory, must receive a username along with a password, and this allows them to use the VPN. Without those three security precautions, a user will not be able to access the Jira software through EA's Active Directory. In the case of a system failure, EA conducts data backup every night. All data that was entered into the software throughout the entire day is stored in a backup storage file in case of a failure, and it is available when needed. EA also has their own internal IT department who is in charge of maintenance and working to resolve any server outages. Jira will have normal updates that typically happen on demand and when they are needed. This will normally be once or twice a quarter, but could be more if a major update is needed to happen at a faster rate. The normal update will try to correct any issues that have already happened with the program, in addition to create patches to prevent issues from happening in the future. When making a change to the CMS system of Jira, the license holder makes decisions about upgrades and plugins. Once a need is determined, the lead of the PMO team works with the IT to determine optimal time and testing for the upgrades. The final sign-off for approval is made jointly between the directors of IT and PMO. The IT team at EA has a dedicated support system tool that is used to manage change requests, catalog any software license, and databases. This is used to track database components related to the Jira software. Jira uses internal audit trails, which manage data integrity, as well as servers that run with standardized backup and logging practices. This audit system helps prevent against cybercrimes and hackers. Upper management creates the rules and regulations for all system development to follow. They create a procedure for all the systems developed in the company, therefore all aspects of the Jira software needs to coincide with the procedures laid out. In the process, the Security Risk Management Group scans the application and reviews the vendor setup and security arrangements for each aspect of the software to make sure that it follows the procedures. To verify the software, cross-functioning groups, including security management and legal teams, review the implications of the software development to look for any differences. They do this to make sure that the software follows all procedures that EA has in place. EA found it more beneficial to take core aspects of Jira and add their own modifications to it in order to meet their needs. By doing so, they were able to add functions that were specific to the needs of the company rather than what Jira had featured. EA wanted to add custom portions of Jira to reflect the business. These customizations include custom screens and updated workflows. By not using the cloud, EA is able to customize the software with their local development team. This helps EA with overall maintenance of Jira because they do not need to contact someone from the outside database to help. Rather, it can be all fixed in-house. Managing the implication process of Jira is a complex task at EA, so they assign this portion of the system development to the IT department. The IT department would then be able to check on each aspect and make sure the software is used accurately based on their thoughts, knowledges of EA's previous system. EA's team tests the software against test case standard to the business to make sure that the software can handle the demands. By doing so, they gain information on how the system handles certain scenarios. This allows EA to understand the software better and is able to handle the system failures that might occur. Jira was transferred over by the trained professionals that were involved with the process, and this took about 4 weeks to complete. The economic benefits consist of reducing labor costs associated with the inefficiencies. Transitional benefits are the increase in speed in which the requests are made available, and the customer service benefits are the full cycle transparency of what the requester asks. The Jira license was already purchased for the use of other teams, so no outside labor was needed to test or modify. Jira allowed EA to create a ticketing system, which in turn helped them track, debugging, and customer service issues easily. All customer service issues, therefore, are tracked and taken care of in an organized manner. A customizable mobile application would allow mobile users to create issue tickets from anywhere and allow them to have their problem solved as quickly as possible, as well as anywhere they were. This application would also keep EA current with technology advancements in the mobile world and allow them to stay ahead of the competition. When it comes to an analysis plan, EA doesn't have a firm one in place. When they were running with the possibility of implementing Jira, they did not explore other software out there. There may have been another software that had an already developed ticketing system that would have worked just fine for EA. Instead, they implemented Jira and had to go through a customizing process to create the ticketing system that they needed. By looking around, EA could have also saved money on the cost of different software as well as the implication cost. We used multiple different sources when it comes to the EA presentation. The main contact that we used was Rob Bauman, who is the Director of Product Management at EA. We also were able to obtain a good amount of information off the Atlanticen Cloud website. Additional websites were used throughout the semester. Communication is key. In doing this project, it was rather fascinating to see how coordinated the entire implication process is across so many teams. To be resourceful, the Jira implication for use as CMS came from the software already being licensed for other projects. EA recognized the flexibility of the software and modified it for CMS. This ultimately was a great cost-saving measure. They utilized being resourceful, and it ended up being a success for their implication process. Although they could have done a better needs analysis or further review of their choices, instead of just going with the system that was most convenient. EA may have gotten lucky. What was interesting is that EA didn't do a great upfront in identifying specific needs or key stakeholders. The project ended up being pretty successful. This is definitely not a best practice, and we assume the success of the project mostly was due to the relative small scale and being familiar with Jira.